I met Sveta at a sporting event, a city marathon to be precise. Although I'm not much of a runner, I joined my friend and tagged along. Little did I know that this simple decision would change the course of my life for the next 4 years. Sveta caught my eye immediately, with her high ponytail and a t-shirt in an eye-catching shade of green. And let's not forget those remarkably short shorts she wore, even though it was late April and the temperature barely reached 13 degrees. Curiosity got the best of me, and I couldn't help but ask, "Aren't you cold?" That's where it all began. Surprisingly, just 2 months later, Sveta moved in with me. It was a whirlwind of emotions, both scary and exciting. 2 years later, I gathered the courage to propose to her. However, Sveta hesitated, explaining that she wanted to establish herself before starting a family. I waited patiently, and after another year, she finally agreed to my proposal. However, she didn't seem in a rush to plan the wedding. It took us 4 long years before we finally submitted the application at the registry office. Invitations were sent, and Sveta had found the perfect wedding dress. You mustn't see it. She playfully scolded me when I tried to catch a glimpse while she was trying it on. Svetka was adorned in a stunning wedding dress, her shoulders bare, her breasts lifted, and a leg peeking out from the neckline. However, she warned her partner that it was bad luck to see the bride in her wedding dress before the wedding. Undeterred by superstitious beliefs, he laughed it off as they continued with their wedding rehearsal. Their actual wedding took place during the May holidays, but it was marred by some unpleasant events. Svetka had gone on a team-building trip with her coworkers, where they engaged in sports competitions and feasts on the beach. The couple had kept in touch, with Svetka sending pictures of herself in her favorite short shorts. However, her messages become infrequent, and the last few photos were of her in an embrace with an older colleague. On the day of the wedding, the partner woke up to find that Svetka had not returned home. After frantically calling her repeatedly, she eventually answered, slurring her words and claiming that she was on her way. When she eventually arrived, she stumbled out of the car, clinging onto another man's hand. It was the same colleague from the photos who had handed her her gym bag. The partner watched on from his balcony, unsure of how he felt about what he had witnessed. Notably, it was an unpleasant way to start their journey into married life. "I'm home, honey," she murmured softly, chuckling. "Yeah, I can tell." "Oh, you're awake," she laughed foolishly once again. She dropped her bag in the hallway and walked past me into the bedroom. And I'm sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. It was a wonder she hadn't passed out in that state. Svetka didn't need to drink much to quickly get drunk, and then she would immediately fall asleep. I stood at the entrance of the bedroom and winced as I watched her take off her t-shirt and shorts, realizing she had no underwear on. "Where's your underwear?" was all I could ask. She never walked around like that in the 4 years I knew her. Svetka waved her hand uncertainly and passed out as soon as her head touched the pillow. Trying to calm the incomprehensible clenching feeling inside me, I slowly walked over to the bed and pulled up her shorts. Definitely no underwear. Then I went through the bag she had traveled with, but there was nothing in there except for a sweater and a swimsuit. What the hell? I looked at Svetka and realized she was clearly in no condition to explain anything right now. Gritting my teeth, I decided to wait for the moment when she sobered up. I slept in the other room and woke up to the stiffness in my entire body. My phone chirped nearby. Svetkin. I had never once invaded her privacy by going through her phone or reading her text messages. However, on this particular day, a message unexpectedly appeared on her phone's home screen. The message read, "Let's pretend this never happened. Okay. I have a family, you have a wedding. One time doesn't mean anything." In an instant, my pressing concern about the missing underwear of the woman I intended to marry became insignificant. I quietly gathered my belongings and left for work, leaving behind the model bride who had prepared dinner for me that evening. Upon my return, she stood at the threshold, her voice laced with shame. I briefly hoped that she would confess everything herself. Her words, however, held no such revelation. "I got so drunk," she began. "That's it?" I retorted. "What else?" she replied. "I had a bit too much to drink, but I don't think it justifies your icy tone." "What deserves it?" I simmered. Perhaps the fact that you came home without underwear? What nonsense, she protested, her cheeks reddening. Don't make me appear foolish. You undressed in front of me. Svetka hesitated, then scowled, and retreated into the bedroom. Don't you trust me? Yeah, I just had too much to drink. We were outdoors, having fun. I took a shower, and in my haste, I forgot to put on my underwear, that's all. But you didn't forget to make time for Oleg, I remarked irritably. Which Oleg? What are you talking about? Just leave, I said as I tossed her gym bag, the one she brought yesterday, in her direction. Gather your things and get out of here. Read the last message from Oleg, where he talks about family and how one time doesn't mean anything, she said, her voice quiet at first, then breaking into sobs. I didn't realize what I was doing. It was the alcohol and the heat. I truly didn't mean for it to happen. It's all just terrible luck. I remained silent as I packed her belongings into my bag, finally tossing her wedding dress on top. Go away, Svetka. Leave while I'm still holding myself together. She departed without collecting her belongings, it seems. I contemplate returning for them when I eventually leave and seek forgiveness, but infidelity is an unforgivable offense. It matters not the circumstances, be it under the influence or sober, no matter my affection for her or the depth of our attachment. My respect for her waned after that act. On that very evening, I delivered her belongings to her parents' residence, situated outside of town. Originally, I had no intention of entering their home, placing her belongings near the gate instead. However, her mother noticed my presence and emerged into the yard. She attempted to persuade me that a single foolish mistake was not worth shattering a so-called family, which wasn't truly a family. She claimed that I, too, could have found myself in her daughter's position, asserting that anything can happen to anyone. I retorted by questioning my mother-in-law if such a thing had ever occurred to her. The woman hesitated, casting her gaze downward, while her father merely bid me farewell with a silent handshake. Despite my inner turmoil, I could sense his support and his daughter's shame reflecting in his eyes. Moving forward, I made an effort to avoid intersecting paths with Sveta. Likewise, she made no attempts to reach out to me, as there was nothing left between us.